We're working on this cool new project that we've been wanting to do for quite a bit. Now that we have all the components in place, we're going to kick it off, our new Street Artisan series. We're choosing an artist each month for the entire year, and we will allow them to, one, pick their spirit that they like. You know, we all have a spirit animal, and we make amazing spirits here, from gin to vodka, rum, bourbon, you name it, we make it. They'll come in and pick the spirit that they want, and basically they will create these beautiful works of art on their bottles, showcasing their talent. Also, with each bottle release, we'll have some beautifully crafted cocktails using that spirit.
With each artist that we're having, they're getting a select run, you know, a one-off release. We try not to give them any kind of direction. We kind of want to let them go wild. Hopefully it inspires them to push out something very unique, and we're just very excited to see what connections this brings.
Let's kick this off. The first artist up is
I'm Diosa, aka Jasmina Casaco. I'm a painter, illustrator, muralist. I tend to work with imagery that's surreal in nature, and I would say underneath it all, my work is about perception. So looking deeper, looking beyond, trying to find the magic that bubbles beneath the surface of everyday life. Well, gin is my favorite liquor, so I was really excited that I got to illustrate that, but then they told me a little bit about this specialty gin that 18th Street Distillery has, and it's essentially a gin that's infused with the butterfly pea blossom flower, and it has this beautiful like midnight blue color from that infusion. But then what's really cool is that once you introduce another element to it, depending on the pH of that element, it starts to change colors. So that's a really magical experience, you know, to see your drink change colors before your eyes. And I just thought that was beyond perfect for me to illustrate.
I also feel like this whole project coming along was the universe kind of speaking. You know, it just happened to be right when we were finishing up this specialty gin, and we brought Jasmina in, and her artwork blends very well with what this gin does. Also, she just happened to be a gin lover, so.
I'm kicking off the series. I'm really enthusiastic and excited to be the first one to kind of experiment with this, and I'm really excited to see what other artists are gonna do, because everyone has their own take on everything. So it's gonna be really neat to see the other collaborations come to life.
Is it already shooting?
I'm rolling, yeah.
Oh, word. Hell yeah. Perfect.
So,
Yeah, art? I don't know. You're not going to get a straight answer out of me for that. Or is that going to be in there? Nah, you should tell Buddy to leave him in there. Leave him in there. Being originally from Chicago, and like moving out to LA has been a dream of mine since I was really little. And it's tight that 18th Street Distillery is working with Chicago artists, but not just the ones that are still in Chicago. Because I feel like, you know, once nobody ever really leaves Chicago kind of thing. Even though I'm in LA now, I still have, you know, a lot of pride for my hometown. From the other artists that they showed me, you know, it's a group of very talented people. So I'm excited to see what comes out of these bottles, and it's an honor for them to even be a part of it. I'm really happy to be the second artist in this series because 2 happens to be my favorite number. My normal voice? This is my normal voice, bro. Should I talk higher?
No,
like
just talk
like
normal.
this? Okay.
I feel like you're like just. I'll just tell you when like it goes low. It just sounded low.
Just do like a cheers to the camera. It'll be kind of funny.
That's lame as hell. That shit's lame as fuck. The liquor that I have is actually an American single malt whiskey, barrel proof. So they distill it and then pull it right from the barrel without cutting any of it. I picked whiskey because wood tastes great. Barrels, I don't know, I'm a fan of Donkey Kong. So this is horrible, bro. This is going horribly.
Alright, and then
Yeah, wait, I guess, hold on. I have to talk about my art a little bit, right?
Yeah, it was World Cup '98, and I remember looking at all the soccer jerseys and thinking like they could be a lot better. So I remember redrawing all of them and like showing my mom, and I mean, I guess that's where it all started.
Oh my God.
That's a whole nother thing when you fast forward and it's like actually trying to do it and make money from it. So I just felt like there was a lane for me to, you know, create something that people that grew up like me could relate to, like with the patterns, a lot of the designs, a lot of the sayings that we had in our, you know, part of our culture, like nobody was putting that on a t-shirt. So then I started incorporating that and, you know, now we're here.
Yeah, so I thought it was perfect when we brought Dave in for this month because I wanted to do something, you know, for Cinco de Mayo. Drew came with this idea. I mean, Drew's brilliant, and you know, we talked about doing this smoked white whiskey, and essentially we were trying to play on mezcal. To me, I think that plays as far as I'm concerned. Like for me, you know, I'm American, but you know, my family originates from Mexico. So to have something that's kind of a balance between the two in a spirit was super exciting for us to put together. And tasting now, I mean, it just tastes amazing. So yeah, very happy with what we came out with.
From the label, I had this idea of what I wanted to do because like right now I'm in a space of where not that I'm trying to sneak my culture in, but like I'm trying to figure out how to bring people into my culture. So the background of the label is it's like this real popular traditional pattern. It's like the sarape pattern in Mexico, And my friend was telling me how it was a dying art form. And like he was telling me like he thinks it's awesome how I continue putting out products with that pattern on it. And that kind of sparked the whole let me put it on this liquor label. So then that's what the original design I sent to Mike, and Mike was like, that's okay, but it could be better. So there's like this embroidery that goes on these like Mexican dresses. So I started cutting that embroidery flowers out and putting them onto my hoodies. And Mike's like, you should incorporate that onto the label. That's why I love working with people like him, because he took that label to a whole nother level.
I'm just gonna laugh forever. Hi, I'm Suburban Warrior. So my favorite thing to do is spray painting, and I picked it up like 5 years ago. One random day, a friend who spray painted needed a friend with a car to drive him to spray paint. And he's like, you should try it. I was like, I'm gonna suck at this is gonna be terrible. But spray paint's just so freeing. So like once I hooked onto it, it was like sold for life. So the spirit I was inspired by was a rum-based gin. And had like really great like citrus notes at the end, very fruity, very tropical. I'm not really like a hard liquor straight drinker, and I could definitely like sip on that for sure. And that had me thinking more of like tropical and exotic things, but for some reason I keep thinking of like alligators and like pineapples and like crazy mix of like all these like super exotic fruits and animals. Like that one totally like, sent me that way. I've always wanted to design a label because I think it's so cool that it can go everywhere. It's like something anybody can have. It's a super attainable art form that someone can have, and it's also something they get to like enjoy. So it's like useful and cool and attainable, and like, you know, like not everybody can afford like a couple $1,000 mural. Not everybody can afford a couple $100 painting, but they can like pick up this cool bottle, get like enjoyment out of it, and have some cool art on it. So I think it's like a good platform to like get your art out to like as many people as possible. I think that's why I like doing art is, why I love doing art and why it's like a huge part of who I am and a passion, because it allows you to meet so many different people and connect in a way where you don't have to have words or anything. Like it's all like these visual images that make you feel something. So to me, that's like the greatest thing you can do is just make connections and make them meaningful and have those people forever. And I think art is a great way to make those connections and all that stuff.
My name's Scott Tarbox. I'm a street artist from Houston, Texas, and I mostly paint animals. The series is really cool. It's dope that they're all lined up with the empty ones that are coming later. It's really neat seeing them. I'm glad I'm not like first, I guess, because it's cool to see some of the ones that have come through this happen. It's neat to know that that's where mine's gonna go next to it. My piece is a shipwreck where the ship is splitting apart and you have tentacles coming up all around it. I think I paint animals mostly because since I was young, I was always really interested in animals and nature, and I try to find something in between realism and cartoonish styles. I think I was really drawn to spray paint, and spray paint's influenced my style a lot, even in my digital work. My release is a port cask finished bourbon, and I got to try it today. I don't know how to describe what I tasted. Like, I know it was really good and I was impressed. I don't have the vocabulary. Whiskey's usually kind of spicy, but the way I was shown to drink it correctly allowed me to appreciate the flavors much more, which was really robust. There was a lot going on, a lot to appreciate. It's probably gonna change the way I drink whiskey.
Well, through graffiti, of course, it's one of those rite of passages in high school, you know, back in the 80s when the movement started coming in from Philly and from New York. They started using the freight trains, which out here, you know, we have plenty of. During those times as kids, you know, we would, you know, go hang out in the prairies and build clubhouses and go fishing and whatnot. And that's where I started realizing all these trains being painted up, which was a very, very surprising thing for me. It was very grand and big, and I mean, I'm starting to decipher, oh wait, these say something, it's letters, and oh wait, they're names, and then, you know, you start hearing about hip hop and graffiti and breakdancing and rapping. So I figured out, well, I could either be a gangbanger, I can't be a basketball player because I'm too short, and I can draw, so let me just go ahead and be an artist and try this graffiti thing out. So basically, graffiti is what set the tone for what I do now today. Hi, my name is Felix Maldonado, aka Flex. I hail from the neighboring city of East Chicago, Indiana. I have my studio here, Flex Creative, in downtown Hammond, Indiana. And my crew affiliation is Kisa, Crazy Indiana Style Artists. With my murals, I don't just find a wall and just paint whatever I want. I do research. I look for the spaces that I feel a certain message that I may have in mind would work well in that area, whether it's if it's going to be a political issue or social issue or something that's going to just at least reflect the community in some way or another. My ideas and my works have a little more thought into it than just to go out and paint. So with that being said, the label itself seems like it needs to tell a story. And so with that, I'm going to create something that I hope will envelop the story of how this particular spirit was created. From the tasting I had, I mean, I've had gins and I've had bourbons and I've had whiskeys, but I've never actually had something where just by the process of infusion can create such colorful magic. And so, see, right as I'm talking to you guys, I'm getting ideas and magic, keywords, you know.
And do I have to say like, hi, I'm Liz Flores, or just like, I'm Liz Flores? I'll just say I'm Liz Flores. The other thing is lame. I like to paint women, and honestly, I'm really interested in the female body, abstracting that, and interpreting just like different emotions and experiences using shapes and colors. If I would have told my like younger self, like, hey, you're painting like women, and you know, it's like there are like boobs and like, you know, there's women in all these like abstract kind of contorted ways, I would have never believed that that would have been what I'd be painting. You know, I went to like a Catholic high school. I grew up in a you know, pretty strict home. There was a lot of boundaries, and for me, my work is about getting out of those boundaries and like freedom, you know, freedom like as a woman to like just do what you want to do. And I think as I get older too, like, you know, there's different experiences that I'm having or different experiences that I'm seeing friends having, like whether it's, you know, motherhood or whether it's leaving a relationship. There's so many paintings where I'm like, oh, that's so interesting. Like, I gotta paint that, or I gotta figure that out. And the way that I figure things out is by painting them. I started off doing actually a lot of like black and white work. And then when I took away the, black and white kind of line work, and I really kind of dove into color, primarily like terracottas and like kind of really like natural colors like that. I feel like the work kind of came together really beautifully, and it just was like exactly what I wanted it to be. I want the piece to feel like just like a party, essentially. Like I want to have a lot of different figures, a lot of women in the piece who are maybe playing music or maybe like dancing or like things like that. Because I don't know, if I just think about like my Mexican and Cuban family, it's just like having fun, like, and like gathering together. And so that's what I want the piece to be. And that's also what I hope like the spirit inspires, it's like people getting together and having a good time. So yeah, see how it turns out.
I'm Skella, also known as Sanguine Skills. I was born and raised mostly in France, but I've lived and traveled all around. And I'm a muralist, painter of all sorts. So my work is mostly about animals and nature and all that. I have an affinity with that part of the world, and for me it makes me sad to see what we do to the planet. And so my style, which I call scalarizing, is actually like a geometric digitization of the natural world, which is exploding, and plants and things like that are wanting to grow out of it. Kind of taking over the world again. My liquor is the maple finished rum, which is a process during which over 2 years maple syrup sits in barrels and then it's removed, and then rum is replaced inside, and then that sits for another year in the spent barrels until you take it out and have something delicious. My design is a maple crazed, sugar crazed Cerberus wolf that's howling, looking for the sweet delights out in the mountains. Representing a little bit of the flavor and also the insanity of me creating it, which was during Hurricane Ida. So we lost power for a long time, and I was designing in the heat, and it felt very crazy. Sanguine actually means to be positive in a particularly bad situation, and so that's been my theme about my art, to kind of, although things may look desolate in the world and everywhere, to bring positivity but also talk about things that are really happening. I hope to inspire with this piece just something fun and sweet, kind of like the rum itself, and and it's coming for October, so it's got a little bit of spookiness and a little bit of New Orleans voodoo.
I'm Juan Kim. I am an artist, a cook, and a DJ. Got started doing art around 12, 13 years old, just doodling, doing graffiti stuff with friends. and then that would eventually turn into a hobby / delinquent activity. And into my adulthood, it turned into more of a delinquent activity and kind of artistic freedom in that sense, without trying to sound too pretentious in that way, but it kind of was a progression to where I'm at now. I think what happens in my head when I'm painting is I just kind of go off of what's available to me. I don't plan ahead. I'm not good at planning or like seeing things from point A to point Z. I just kind of look at my mess behind me and I just kind of riff off of that. I just, in a sense, it's freestyling all the time. So I just kind of go off of a single line, a shape, a color. With bourbon, I just went with the color, just brown. And I started doing line work, and then, you know, I kind of just thought, like, this is what I think. I think this is what my brain thinks when I drink bourbon. There's all these little complexities, there's all these little notes. You know, whatever magic happens in the barrels with that liquid to the finished product is kind of like what I thought the thought process would be for the label.
Hi, I'm Erica, and I am a bartender here at 18th Street. I also love to spend a lot of time packaging. So what I'm doing right now is, after our spirit has been distilled and aged, I then fill up these glass empty bottles, put it in this little machine here, press a button, and I watch and make sure that every bottle is lined up correctly at a consistent level.
I'm Alex. I'm the assistant to the distiller, head of packaging, and I bartend on the weekends, so I'm kind of there for all of it. I'm there helping Mike with cooks and distillations, and then we come up here and we package it. So once Erica gets a bottle done, she brings it over to me. I do the labels, making sure it's perfect. They have to be a millimeter apart, so I try really hard to make sure they're all consistent. And then from there, we have to heat gun them, or we have to wax dip them for special occasions.
The Artisan series project, I think, is super, super, super cool because it gives everybody a chance to shine. A lot of people come in and enjoy their cocktail and enjoy the drink that we make for them. You know, they take stuff home with them, but they never really kind of get to know what happens behind the scenes. So what really happens is us, your bartenders, put all the magic into one little bottle.
I got started with art probably through just seeing my older brother drawing and going to comic book shops with him, seeing what he was doing, and like cartoons. I remember being little and The Simpsons coming on. I remember putting tracing paper up on the TV and tracing, you know, Bart or Ren and Stimpy came on. It just blew my mind. I think it blew everybody's mind. And it just kind of went from there. My name is William Test. I am a fine artist based out of Northwest Indiana. My process now is sort of a means to discover something new. So if I sit down and start a painting now, I try to just go blank. I try not to know what I'm doing. It's almost like a meditative state. And I just start putting marks down and just letting it build itself. Make a mark over here, and then kind of react to that. That's when things start looking like something like, oh, that kind of looks like a mountain. This looks like a spaceship. This looks like a cloud with something behind it. That didn't work out how I wanted it to. That kind of looks like a guy's face, and now there's a giant person in the landscape, and that's kind of how my images are starting to evolve. And that's sort of where the pendulum dowser title came from. It's sort of a mystical method for finding stuff, like maybe like a lost item or lost loved one is. That kind of resonated with me for how I make paintings. You know, it's kind of like I just let the brush go wherever it wants to go. You know, I try not to control it. It's kind of like a Ouija board. If you do it right, it looks like a spirit is in control of things.
Hi, my name is Kat. I am co-owner and general manager of 18th Street Distillery. We were able to do something super fun with the Street Artisan series by rolling out a new spirit every single month. The way that it all works is we talk to them about the spirits that we make and we figure out what the best fit for them is going to be. And once they choose their spirit, they create an awesome label, and from there, that's where the fun really happens with all of us. With cocktail formulation, we do an event every single month for each artist, so we get to roll out 4 cocktails with their spirit. And we get to do some really insane things with cocktails too. We smoke them. We use different infusions with our simple syrups. Even naming the spirits, I think, is one of the most fun parts for me. We all just sit around and it's kind of chaotic where we're all just saying weird words until something starts to make sense.
Hi, my name is Caitlin. I am one of the mixologists here at 18th Street Distillery in Hammond. We all work together to create really awesome cocktails every month, actually all the time. We go through the extra effort to completely create our own simple syrups because we make our own spirits here, so we want to continue to make everything in-house to create a really great experience for everyone who comes in to feel like we really handcrafted these cocktails with love for you.
My favorite part about this series is that I get to meet all kinds of different people. So I get to see where people, like how they use their creativity to make art. It's just been really neat to meet people that I probably wouldn't, I guess. I learned a lot about different styles of art. I didn't realize that like how much goes into like somebody who draws with a pencil and how that gets converted into like a digital file. So I have like really awesome conversations with people and learn stuff I just never would have known.
This number 12? Yeah. Word. Peace, my name is Deron MC. I'm a multidisciplinary visual artist based out of Las Vegas, Nevada, originally from Gary, Indiana. I'm extremely honored to be a part of it, period. On top of that, I'm honored to be the 12th one out of all the dope artists and bottle labels that I've seen out of the whole 12. It's just dope to see to be the last one. When people look at the bottle, I want to make sure they get the feel of natural, nature, growth, the beginning of where things start from, and the potential of what they could turn out to be. The main reason I do what I do is just giving my contributions to beauty. So if anybody, like if you notice my work, it's like mostly female and nature, like connections to people and nature. There's a cloud motif in most of my pieces, and the cloud not only comes from being nature involved, but it's also like a symbol for dreams. So it's just like a reminder to people that's watching the pieces to keep their dreams with them at all times. So it's like a realization of dreams. Originally, the idea came from kind of being self-serving, right? So I need to be focused on my dreams. Sometimes we need to inspire ourselves before we can inspire other people. Then I started using the cloud as a signature piece, and people started recognizing my work just based off the cloud or the way that I do the eyes. So that originally started from like semi-realism, but like heroes, villains, and old comic book, they lose the pupils and the irises in their eyes when they reach like their highest level of power. Being at the highest level of whatever it is you do is where everybody that does anything wants to be. So these images are just reminders of make sure you at an elevated consciousness at all times. I'm more of a whiskey guy myself, but being in the fact that 18th Street always drops dopeness, I guarantee like me tasting this rum is gonna get me open to like different spirits, getting more in tune with the rum, like taste the flavors in that, tasting that. So I'm excited about getting turned over into rum. I might be a rum dude after this, I don't know, we'll see.